Long ago, in a big village called Ooduni, there was a beautiful princess named Ayo. Ayo was the only daughter of King Tade and Queen Morenike. Her skin was dark and shining like fresh palm oil. Her eyes sparkled like the stars at night. Everyone in the village said she was the most beautiful girl they had ever seen. But there was one big problem. Ayo had a very strong body odor. Even though she bathed 3 times every day, the smell would still come back. When she was little, her parents thought it would go away as she grew older. But when she turned 16, the smell became even worse. The smell was so strong that people covered their noses when she passed by. Children ran away from her, shouting, "Yeah, the princess has come. Let's run." Ayo heard their words and felt sad in her heart. She often cried alone in her room at night. Her mother, Queen Morenike, tried everything. She bought sweet perfumes from faraway lands. She boiled herbs and made Ayo drink bitter soups. But nothing worked. The smell stilled. Even the palace maid sometimes avoided her, pretended to be busy just so they wouldn't get close. When Ayo turned 18, her father announced she was ready for marriage. King Tade sent messengers to all the nearby villages, telling them his daughter was looking for a husband. Many young men came to the palace to see the beautiful princess. They were excited at first, but when they stood close to Ayo, their smiles disappeared. They sniffed and shifted uncomfortably. The strong smell filled the air and made them feel sick. One by one, the suitors made excuses and left. Some said she was rude. Some said they were not ready to marry yet. But everyone knew the real reason. Ayo sat by her window every evening, watching the sun set. She wished she could be like other girls. She wished she could walk in the market without people whispering. She wished she could find a husband who would love her even with her smell, but nobody came. One day, Ayo's best friend, Fumi, came to visit her. Fumi was a cheerful girl from the next village. She always tried to make Ayo smile. "Don't worry, my friend," Fumi said. "One day, you will find someone who sees your heart, not just your smell." But Ayo shook her head sadly. "No, Fumi. No man will ever want to marry me. Even the palace guards avoid me. What kind of life is this?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. Fumi hugged her and wiped her tears. The next morning, Ayo's father called the best herbalist in the land. His name was Baba Ojo. He was very old and wise. He came to the palace with his big bag of roots leaves, and powders. Baba Ojo looked at Ayo and nodded slowly. "I have seen this before," Baba Ojo said. "The smell is not ordinary. It is a curse. Somebody does not want this girl to marry." Everyone gasped. The queen held her head in shock. "A curse? Who would curse my daughter?" Baba Ojo mixed herbs and gave them to Ayo. "Drink this every morning," he said. "We will also do a cleansing in the forest. Do not lose hope. The gods are watching." Ayo nodded and thanked him quietly. For the next 7 days, Ayo drank the bitter herbs. Papa Ojo took her to the forest every evening. They sat under a big iroko tree and he prayed to the gods, calling her name loudly and asking them to remove the curse. On the 7th night, something strange happened. As they sat under the tree, a soft wind blew through the forest. Ayo felt her body becoming light, as if something heavy was leaving her. Baba Ojo smiled and said, "It is done. The gods have heard us." The next morning, Ayo woke up and felt fresh. She smelled her own body and was surprised. The bad odor was gone. She ran to her mother and hugged her. Queen Morenike sniffed her daughter and shouted in joy, "It is true. The smell is gone." That same day, King Tade sent messengers again to tell the villages that Ayo was free of the curse. Many men came to see her again. This time, they stood close to her and smiled. The bad smell was truly gone. Everyone was happy. One young man named Seyi caught Ayo's eye. He was tall and kind. With a warm smile, he came forward and knelt before the king. "Your Highness," he said, "I won't be honored to marry Princess Ayo." Ayo's heart beat fast. Seyi turned to her and smiled. "I have always admired you from afar. Even when people ran away, I saw your kind heart. I'm glad the curse is gone. But even if it wasn't, I still wouldn't have chosen you." Ayo felt tears in her eyes. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. She smiled at Seyi and nodded shyly. "Thank you," she whispered. Everyone in the hall clapped and cheered. Ayo and Seyi's wedding was the biggest the village had ever seen. Women danced and sang. Drummers played loud, happy beats. Ayo wore a bright yellow wrapper and coral beads. She looked like the sun itself. During the wedding, Ayo remembered all the nights she cried alone. She remembered how people had mocked her, but now she felt proud of herself. She had survived the hard times and found happiness at last. After the wedding, Ayo and Seyi moved to their own house in the village. Sheyi was a farmer and Ayo helped him sell his yams in the market. People greeted her warmly now and even came to her for advice. One day, Fumi visited her. "I told you, my friend," Fumi said with a laugh. "I told you someone would see your heart." Ayo hugged her and smiled. "Yes, Fumi, you were right. Thank you for never leaving me." As time passed, Ayo and Sheyi had children, 2 boys and 1 girl. The children were strong and healthy. Ayo taught them to always be kind to others, no matter what they looked or smelled like. Whenever someone in the village felt sad or lonely, they came to Ayo. She always told them a story, how she suffered but never gave up. People called her the kind princess because she never forgot where she came from. Even the palace guards, who once avoided her, now respected her. They bowed whenever she came to visit her parents. King Tade and Queen Morenike were proud of their daughter and loved to play with their children. Ayo often sat outside in the evenings, watching the sun set with Sheyi. She would hold his hand and smile. "I am glad that God sent you to me," she said softly. And Sheyi would smile back and say, "And I am glad you never gave up." The villagers never forgot Ayo's story. Mothers told it to their children at night, how the princess with a bad smell became the most loved woman in the land. It taught them to never laugh at others or give up hope. One day, the king called Ayo and said, "You have taught this village love and kindness. When I am gone, you will be queen." Ayo cried tears of joy. She could not believe she had come so far. And so, Princess Ayo, who once cried because no man wanted her, became Queen Ayo, the most loved woman in all the land. Her story lived on forever, teaching everyone that even in darkness, light can shine through. After the king's words, Ayo felt very happy but also afraid. "Papa," she said softly, "will the people accept me as queen? Some of them still remember how I smelled before." But King Tade smiled and shook his head. "My daughter, they now see your good heart. That is what matters most." Queen Morenike hugged her and said, "You have suffered, but you never became bitter. That is why the gods have blessed you. Don't doubt yourself, my child." Ayo nodded and felt a little stronger inside. Villagers began calling her Queen in waiting. They brought her gifts, buckets of yams, pots of honey, and colorful wrappers. They said, "Our future queen, we honor you." This made her heart warm and full of joy. But not everyone was happy. One woman in the village named Ireti was jealous of Ayo. Ireti had once hoped her own daughter would marry the king's son and become queen one day. Now, she looked at Ayo with anger. Ireti began to whisper bad things about Ayo. "Don't you remember her smell?" she told people. "Do you really want someone like her to be your queen?" Some villagers started to wonder. Ayo heard about it and cried quietly. Sheyi saw her crying and held her hand. "My love," he said gently, "ignore those who are jealous. You have done nothing wrong. The gods choose you." "That is enough." Ayo wiped her tears and tried to smile. One day, Ireti came to the palace and shouted angrily, "I don't want Ayo to be queen. She is cursed. Her smear may come back. We don't want shame in this village." The crowd gasped, and Ayo stood there quietly, looking down. King Tade stood up and spoke in a loud, strong voice. "Ireti, stop your lies. We all saw how Ayo suffered and overcame her curse. The gods removed her shame. Do not insult my daughter again." Everyone clapped and cheered. Ayo thanked her father, but still felt sad inside. Later that night, she went to the forest and knelt under the big Iroko tree. "Oh gods," she prayed, "please make my heart strong. Please help me forgive those who hurt me." The next day, she visited Ireti's house with a basket of food. Ireti was shocked. "Why are you here?" she asked rudely. Ayo smiled and said, "I brought you food. I forgive you. I want us to live in peace." Ireti was speechless and began to cry. After that day, Ireti stopped saying bad things about Ayo. She even started respecting her. The whole village saw Ayo's kindness and loved her even more. They said, "She truly has a queen's heart." Months passed, and King Tade became old and weak. He called Ayo and placed the royal crown on her head. "My daughter," he said with his last breath, "lead this land with love." Then he closed his eyes and joined the ancestors. The whole village cried for the king and also celebrated Ayo's new reign. Drums beat loudly and people danced. They shouted, "Long live Queen Ayo! Long live our queen!" As Queen Ayo helped the poor and built new wells so everyone could have clean water, she told the people, "Nobody will be laughed at in my kingdom. Everyone has dignity." She stood by her side as her husband and advisor. He always reminded her, "You are strong, my queen. Never forget where you come from." His love gave her courage every day. Children in the village loved her and ran to her whenever she walked past. She always gave them sweets and told them stories about her life. She taught them to always believe in themselves. One evening, Fumi visited her at the palace. They sat under the stars, talking about old times. Fumi laughed and said, "You see, I told you your story was not over. Look at you now, the queen." Ayo laughed too and said, "Thank you for never giving up on me." Many years passed, and Ayo became known far and wide as the most beloved queen in the land. People came from other villages just to hear her speak. Her kindness became a light to everyone. And when she grew old and gray, she still sat outside every evening watching the sunset with Sheyi, smiling and holding his hand. she would whisper, "I am thankful for everything, even the hard times." Here are moral lessons that we can learn from this wonderful story. Never give up hope. Even when everyone laughed at Ayo and no man wanted her, she kept believing in her heart that things would get better. A good heart is more important than looks. Ayo's kindness and love for others made her a queen in the hearts of her people. Forgive those who hurt you. When Ayo forgave Ireti, she brought peace to her land and showed true strength. Hard times don't last forever. The cost and the shame were just a season in her life. Better days came at last. Always help others. As queen, Ayo cared for everyone and made sure nobody felt left out or laughed at. True love sees the heart. She loved Ayo, not because of her looks, but because of who she was inside. Thank you so much, viewers and subscribers, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.